Who here is ready for another success story? I know I absolutely adore them. And thank you to all of my clients, and even some of you who aren't clients that have coached with me on a one-to-one basis, but you have been watching my videos and content. And I've had a few of you emailing me your success stories based on the content that I am putting out freely on these platforms. I'm so proud of you that you've managed to utilize the stuff that I'm putting out there and using it to your advantage to realize your dreams and goals. And if any of you are watching have also experienced this, feel free to share your success story. You don't have to be a client of mine on a one-to-one basis. You can be someone that has just watched the content, has managed to grasp it, and has put it to use. Don't just be hearers of the word, as Neville says, be doers of it as well. So this is truly important. But I love sharing these success stories. This particular client was quite hard to pin down, and she's just been living her best life with her SP, but she hasn't gone into too much detail. She's WhatsApped me her story, and it was really quite a funny thing occurred, which will obviously come out in her message. But I'll go into what we particularly worked on with regards to her. I know successes can really help you, especially if the story resonates you, especially if the situation is very similar to your own. It just gives us a bit of a boost, allows us to let go of our situation, our circumstances, our obstacles, and to see that if they can do it, you can do it too. We all have the same power. So let's keep that in mind. Before I go into it, I just want to thank you all for joining me. I'm Athena Raven. I'm a mental health and manifestation life coach here to empower you, inspire you, make you smile, hold your hand through this manifestation journey, and just break things down, simplifying the steps so that you can realize your goals effectively and easily. If you do enjoy the content I'm putting out, feel free, like, subscribe, and click that bell icon as well so you never miss a beat. I'm always posting videos on a weekly basis, and I love and appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much. So without further delay, here we go. So like I say, she just WhatsApped me. She hasn't gone into too much detail. She was a bit worried to give away too much just in case SP or any of his family members might watch this sort of content and it becomes a bit obvious. So, but she's given us the basics, the lowdown of what's been going on here. So she states, I had contacted Athena to help me with manifesting an SP after a breakup. My SP and I had been broken up for nearly a year, with several periods of no contact. I always seemed to have success with manifesting him back into my life, but keeping him, there was a different story. Although we were not in a relationship, the times we were in contact, our relationship baggage and the way he showed up in my reality continued to manifest poorly, leading to more fights and ending after ending after ending. I struggled with my concept of him, my insecurities with myself, and feeling threatened by his social media activity. Furthermore, a third party entered into the picture, causing even more breakdowns. I was in complete despair when I finally decided to get coaching. I wanted a loving, committed relationship with my SP, with passionate intimacy, and I wanted to be the only woman he had eyes for. Athena helped me through various modalities to help me shift my mindset and reprogram my subconscious mind. Through cognitive therapy, hypnosis, and meditation, I was able to shift state. I manifested him back again, almost instantly. I stayed consistent in what Athena taught me to continue to manifest the changes that unfolded over the course of several months. The third party is gone. He went from ignoring my texts and treating me like his last priority to texting and calling me first every day. He went from being scarce and unavailable to fully present. He answers every single text. We go on frequent dates. He has gone from emotionally unavailable to fully expressing his feelings and hopes and fears. We are finally involved intimately, which is something I longed for during the year of separation. Because I manifested that I was the only woman for whom he had eyes and the only woman who could make him aroused, he informed me during our year apart that he suffered from ED, so that's erectile dysfunction, had no other partners due to his lack of ability, and and recently received treatment. We have had no issues with our intimacy. Furthermore, he dropped over 200 women he was following on Instagram, and I didn't even have to ask him to do that. There were inexplicable events that led to the manifestation coming through to fruition. But I couldn't have done it without Athena's help in changing how I viewed him, myself, and the situation. Thank you, Athena. And I'd asked her if she could state a bit more as to what it was specifically that helped. She said the cognitive therapy helped me the absolute most, changing the story, seeing things from a different angle or perspective. That helped the most, looking for all the indications that the story I was telling myself was false. Thank you for everything. And then there was a couple of voice notes after that. So she hasn't gone into too much detail because she was really worried about protecting her privacy. But how interesting as well. You see, this is someone that she'd had this on and off relationship with. When I met her, she had no doubts that she could manifest him back, because as she stated in her message, she had manifested him back numerous times. That so much wasn't the problem. And I know that a few of you are on this journey, and I've had this before, where clients of mine have stated, I manifested him back like 2-3 times, and now it's probably going to be impossible because I've messed it up all those times, and what's the chances they're going to come back again? See, it doesn't matter. She's done it numerous times. She had no doubt, and I had no doubt as well, that she was going to manifest him back, because when I met her, she was very certain of it. She was like, I know that he's going to be a part of my life. I know that I can get him back. She had had all the evidence that her ego mind needed to state that this was a possibility, because she'd done it before. She had the proof as well. So I was like, perfect. You're in a better situation than many would potentially be in. And she saw it as a positive, and she had an absolute knowing. But the problem, as she states as well, was keeping him and getting the version of him that she desired to experience in this reality. He was never really prioritizing her. It was always a little thing on the side. He would pick her up and drop her again. He wouldn't really respond to her messages. He was too busy with Instagram, had followed so many women, and it made her feel insecure because his type, and I'm sorry, Hannah, I'm hopefully not going into too much detail. Be very careful to protect your privacy. But his type was very different to what she was like. She didn't look anything like these people on Instagram. And of course, I worked with her. This cognitive style of therapy, this challenge work that we did, which I do with all of my clients, and I must admit, I seem to get the most success with using this style, this modality on my clients than I do through hypnosis, which might surprise a lot of people. A lot of people come to me saying, I have hypnosis. Yep, let's do hypnosis. Let's just go into my unconscious mind. I like to use a cocktail of modalities. That's why I've looked into hypnosis and NLP and cognitive, style behavioral therapy, because it's not a one size fits all for everybody. And I could see that her limiting beliefs and clasping onto this old story, her inner insecurities, were the real problem here. So we wanted to make sure that when he comes back this time, because she knew he was going to come back, that wasn't the problem. When he comes back this time, he's actually going to show up as the ideal version. And despite what's going on with the Instagram, which I stated to her before, to help her alleviate her anxieties around it, was a case of, well, what chance does he have with these people on Instagram? They are strangers to him. They are people that he is just liking or commenting on pictures. They're not necessarily engaging with him. They're probably living all over different countries, different states as well. They were much younger than he was too. What are the real chances here? What is the threat? This is some sort of fantasy that he has. So he's looking at other people's pictures. What is the meaning that you're applying? Why are you applying the meaning that this is something against you, that he's not going to love and adore you? Of course he can. He obviously does. He's still coming in and out. There's obviously a connection here. Let's make this more stable. And so she started to focus more within herself and her inner power. She was feeling better about herself. She'd done various things for herself, making herself, improving her appearance as well, and various other things that she was insecure about, and just accepting. It's about a self-acceptance and a self-love that had to go alongside that knowing. Because in the past, she would also be demanding that he like stop ghosting me and messaging me back. You know how we all do, we fall into that trap of SP is not reacting in the way that we would like, so we reach out to them, we tell them off, we put up these boundaries, and of course it was met with a lot of resistance or him just going ghost again. It never really changed the behavior. She had to go within to change that and to feel prioritized, because if everyone is your mirror, if everyone is you pushed out, then how can they prioritize you and love you and appreciate you and treat you with respect if you don't give yourself the priority, the love, the respect? They're mirroring it back. You can't change the mirror to see a different reflection. You change yourself to then see a different reflection in the mirror. And that's all that he was doing the whole time. So giving her these perspectives, these understandings, delving in deep to the problem, building up her self-esteem, changed it all around. And I thought it was so interesting when she was stating, because obviously he was in another relationship, he was with this third party, again, something that she was making comparisons to, as we all do. I think, and I don't want to say it's just women, but I think us girls in particular, I know I've done this quite a lot, are pretty bad. Maybe guys do it too as well, actually. Guys, tell me if you do too. We will stalk out the third party, or even ex-girlfriends and partners. We'll stalk them out. What's the competition like? Are they anything like me? And of course, if they're not, if they're a different body shape or culture or hair color or whatever it is, then we start making these comparisons. Well, I'm nothing like that person. What are the chances? And that was a big thing for her, this constant comparison. We had to take her away from that. We had to stop her from obsessing about what he was doing with his social media and go within. Focus on the version of him that you wish to experience, and the version of you that is experiencing it and is feeling good about it and is content and stable in this relationship. Let's turn this around. And so this relationship, and she'd said to me before as well, she'd gotten in touch, because my clients are always WhatsApping me and updating me with things that happen. So suddenly it was like, the third party is gone, Athena. She's gone. Just gone like that. And she never got an explanation as to what happened, why it ended, when it ended. She didn't ask, she didn't go into it. She just accepted third party is gone. But that was a big blocker for her. And she didn't like the idea or the thoughts that he might be being intimate with this third party or with anyone else for that matter. And so that was a big thing for her, this belief that I am the only one for this person. He cannot get intimate with anyone else. He cannot be aroused, as she said, by anyone else. And inadvertently, it's manifested as him having erectile dysfunction. And for a while, you know, she was worried about that, because it obviously affected when he came back to her. There was still quite a bit of time that passed before they had that intimacy that she was so much craving. But I just kept on realigning her. I just kept on pushing her attention and focus on what she wanted and not what she didn't want. I just kept on nudging her into keeping and holding steadfast to the state of having. And of course, delete so many women off his social media. Suddenly they mean nothing. Just like we had applied the meaning to, they mean nothing. All these years, he had been almost addicted to these other profiles and these other women and all these beautiful airbrushed, photoshopped images. Suddenly it means nothing. He got rid of it of his own accord. She didn't have to ask. She didn't have to state anything. Third party, gone. She doesn't even know how that happened. And now this erectile dysfunction that meant that he couldn't be intimate with anyone else. So now that he's getting treatment for it, she was so excited. She was saying that their whole relationship had turned around. She's gotten everything that she wants, and she can't believe, and she stated to me before as well, I can't believe how he's showing up for me. I've never seen or experienced this version of him before, that prioritizes me, that texts me every single time, that initiates the message. She was the chaser for the longest time, and every time they got together, she was the chaser. She was accepting all the breadcrumbs that she was getting, which a lot of you who are still in contact with your SP or have this on and off hot and cold behavior, you're just accepting whatever is given because it's better than nothing, right? And we cling on to it and we stay in lack and we struggle to see any other way. But breaking away from that and having this period of no contact and putting the focus and energy and attention into herself turned things around completely. And like I said, she never had any doubts that he was going to come back. She knew that he would, but she just wanted to make sure that this time he came back, it was for keeps. This time it was a different version she was going to experience. And so that's why we went deeper and worked on those inner beliefs and those insecurities and changing the meaning of how she was viewing her 3D reality and her circumstances at the time. And of course, naturally, when you do shift state, automatically the meaning that you apply to things that are happening are going to be less so. Be less bothered by anything like competition. Well, there is no competition. What am I worried about? Social media. They're miles away. What are the chances that it's no threat to me? And the fact that I might be different to this type that he seems to like or follow makes me unique, makes me even more attractive. There's obviously something between us. He can't stop coming back to me. And so it was all of this application of a new story and new meanings that really helped her to sever the ties to the past, the old version of him, and to now experience a new version. This is why for those coaches, dating coaches and at that state, oh, once they're that way and you've broken up, just let go. How many people must say to her and to those of you out there who are experiencing similar, look, that they're not treating you right. Just let them go. Just let them be. You know, if they wanted to show up for you and text you and stuff, they would. They obviously don't care about you. This is an example right here of how people can change. People can do a 180. I've experienced it with my SP journeys. I've experienced it with my clients' journeys as well, just like her. And thank you, hun, if you are watching this, although you're probably not, because it was hard enough to get this story from you. Living the high life, just enjoying it. I think she was so excited and so just living it out. It was really difficult to get her to find the time just to write that much. So I hope that this really helped you guys. For those of you who are going through something similar, keeps you inspired and motivated, because it absolutely can turn around. Just because they've shown up one way in the past doesn't mean they can't change. Doesn't mean it's always going to be like that. What meaning are you applying to it? How are you seeing them? What states have you put them in? Don't keep them stuck in a state. We do them a disservice, a dishonor by doing that. Just like we do ourselves a disservice by keeping ourselves stuck. We need to grow. We need to develop and realize that we are worthy of being prioritized, of being chosen, of being loved in the way that we wish to experience. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. I've got plenty more to share with you, and I'm sending you guys all the love in the world. Never give up on your dreams. I'll see you in the next video.